You're listening to Three Kitchens Podcast, hosted by home cooks Erin Walker and Heather Dyer.
We're on a mission to inspire you to try something new. Let's all learn to cook better and eat great food. Okay, we're back. Here we are with another episode of Three Kitchens Podcast.
That's us. I'm Erin.
And I'm Heather. And today we're doing a bit of science with our recipe.
That's right. Trust us, we're scientists.
Erin can say that. I cannot.
We're kitchen scientists. You get to say it too.
I'm not sure I'm trustworthy in this regard.
I don't think I'm trustworthy either, to be honest with you, but you know.
But we were very conservative.
Yes.
In our approach to it. So we're not just going like hog wild doing crazy shit in the kitchen with chemicals or whatever. Okay,
yeah.
let's get into it. What did we make?
Well, this is a little bit different this week because we've already made this and we're just coming back to yap about it.
Yeah.
So we made pretzels together. We both got into one kitchen. So we used a pretzel recipe that Heather had used in the past that we got from Sally's Baking Addiction, and it is a really quick pretzel. There's like no proofing, rising, extra waiting time involved in making this bread dough, which was actually really nice.
It's such a nice dough.
Yeah.
It's like soft and airy, and like you get this nice squishy pretzel at the end. Like I really, you know that I'm not like the bread baker of the two of us, and I can do this dough. It's easy, foolproof recipe.
Yeah. In the past, you had made this using a baking soda bath to boil the pretzels in before they're baked to give them that pretzel flavor. And so we had some food grade lye that a former guest, Larry Harris, gave to us because he's the baking guru to consult on all baking things. And he gave us this food grade lye and said, use this to make your pretzels.
Which was a little scary, and is why when I first made soft pretzels, I was like, there's no way I am
not going there.
I was like, I don't even want to know where you buy it. I don't want to touch it. It was scary because it is something to be careful with. So let's talk a little bit about lye before we get into kind of the process of making these things. Because there are we've learned a few, rules around how to be careful with lye in the kitchen.
Yeah. So lye its chemical name is sodium hydroxide, and it is a very strong base. So if you think of vinegar is an acid, this sits on the other end of the pH scale, and you have to be really careful with it in the same way you would have to be really careful with anything super acidic. It will burn your hands.
You don't want to breathe it in.
Yeah. You don't want to breathe it in. It will irritate your airways.
You don't want to get it on your clothes or on your countertops.
No.
Yeah. So this is why I was like nervous about it in the first place. But the way you use it is you diluting it in water.
Yes.
And you add it to the water. You don't add the water to the lye.
That's right.
Because you don't want that super concentrated. You want to start out with enough water and then add your lye. It's like a powder. It looks like a powder. You put it in. Be careful. If you want, you can wear gloves.
Yes.
We read some warnings about keeping children and animals from running around the kitchen while you're working with it, so nothing gets spilled or bumped or whatever. Open your windows, turn on your vent hood.
And rinse everything really good after you've done this. So like if you're using a tablespoon or a jar to measure out your lye, rinse that really good when you're done. Don't just like put it in the sink and then forget about it and then go and handle it, because there's going to be little bits left behind and you don't want to contaminate yourself or anything else.
Okay. So like I said, we were quite conservative with it. Not having done this before, we wanted to sort of err on the side of caution. And in the end, we could have used more lye. So if you want to start out and be cautious like we were, what was the ratio that we used?
So we made a 1% solution and we had 2 liters of water and 20 grams of lye. So it was a very weak base solution. We could have definitely, some blogs we read could have gone up to 4%.
Yeah. I don't really know how you determine what's the best way to do it. Maybe it's something around comfort level with it. Maybe experience and leads you to feel comfortable with it, or maybe it's just different recipes are different. I don't really know.
Yeah. So maybe we should talk a little bit about what the lye is doing to our dough.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest way that we were able to find an explanation for this, because we read some really sciencey ones and we were like, that's too much.
With peptides and whatnot.
Peptides and amino acids and all that fun,
Yeah.
sciencey talk. Nobody wants to hear that. This really basic solution is starting to break down the starches and the sugar that's on the dough. That's part of your dough. And by doing that, it's speeding up the process by which things are cooking, because you're kind of cooking it a little bit in this basic solution.
Yeah.
And so then when you put it into the oven, it's going to start browning and caramelizing faster than it would if you or hadn't done that step of bathing it in the basic solution.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a result of us being much more conservative in what we used for our basic solution, our pretzels did not brown or caramelize as much as maybe we expected. And so we didn't quite get the pretzely malty flavor that you would expect because we didn't have enough of a base.
Right.
So
yeah,
I think like we've both mentioned how easy this is and how fun it was to make. And now that we feel a little bit more comfortable handling the lye, I'm going to hedge bets that by the time this comes out, we're going to provide you with some visuals on Instagram showing you what happens when you increase that percentage of lye. And maybe
ooh, she's feeling brave. She's going to go make them.
Maybe I'm going to make 2 lye solutions next time. Make like a 20% and a 40% and see if with the same dough, how different it looks.
Ooh.
Like maybe I'll do some real experimental work over here in the kitchen, Heather.
Don't worry, everyone. She's a scientist.
It's okay. I'm a scientist. I got this.
Now, if you're listening and you're like, okay, I'm out. I'm already out. I cannot do the lye. That sounds like too scary, too risky, whatever. If you're like out, you can use baking soda in the water bath, which is how I originally made them. You can go back to that episode. We'll link it in the show notes when I made pretzels with a baking soda solution. And they did brown up nicely and they were awesome. Same recipe, same bread recipe, just a different water bath. So that is an option. But we're doing it again this time because we really wanted to try out the lye and we wanted to tell you our experience with it so that maybe you want to try it. Yeah.
And based on what we did, it didn't seem extremely risky or hard to do. There wasn't a lot of opportunity for splash. Oh, that's one thing we should mention that we kind of learned is that you bring this solution to a boil and then you turn it off before you start dipping your bagels. Why do I keep calling them bagels, Heather? Oh my God.
They ended up looking kind of like bagels.
They did.
That's the other part of it. But we can get to that in a second. But you're right. It's only in the lye solution for 20 seconds. You put it in, let it float for 10 seconds, flip it over, let it float for 10 seconds, scoop it out. And we just used a slotted metal spoon.
Yeah.
And worked great. Just let it drip a little bit so you're not splashing around. Put it directly onto we had a cookie sheet with parchment on it, moved it onto, and it was basically no mess.
Yeah, there was no splashing or burning or...
Nope. Didn't smell anything. We didn't notice a thing. So
no. Again, we were working with super low concentration, so we'll see what happens as we up it and see what those visuals look like.
However, even with the small amount of lye that we had, it
Mhm.
had this really nice crispy bottom
Yeah,
on the
that's
pretzel, and the
right.
top it did brown, and it did have a nice, like that nice kind of crust. It wasn't quite what we expected it to be, but it was
Mhm.
still like and nice and soft and moist on the inside, like you do even with a small solution. Yeah,
You didn't get
yeah.
the flavor as much, and maybe if like that malty flavor isn't your favorite, like this is a great way to achieve, like you said, that nice sealed, shiny crust with that salt in there, and you bite through it, and you've got
Mm.
that dense, delicious,
Oh, that dough, like
oh,
that bun is just fantastic.
so darn
We're calling it
good.
a bun instead of a pretzel
I know.
because
I think at the end of the day, these are more like pretzel buns because we didn't roll them out as thin and long.
it was me. I was doing the rolling while Aaron was weighing the dough. It's really hard to roll them long. I'm telling you, it's so springy. This
Boing.
dough just wants to like whoop, go back together. Like you roll it out and it kind of just goes, nope, I want to stay together. Don't stretch me out. So I did my best, but it was really hard to roll it into a long rope and then twist it into the pretzel shape. So
Hmm.
ours they do look more like almost like a bagel or a bun.
Hmm.
But you could form these any which way you want and still
Yes.
get that nice outside kind of crust, like you said. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, listener, have you visited our website? You'll find our entire catalog of episodes. Can you believe there are more than 170 of them, including the Speakeasy Cocktail series and almost all of our recipes?
It's easy to find. Just type in www.freekitchenspodcast.com or check the show notes for a link. Now, let's get back to the show. We made this happen the way we wanted it to, in the fact that they turned out as buns, because we had this fantastic idea that we would put some cream cheese and smoked salmon and capers and red onions
Mhm.
with our pretzels, and the fact that they turned out more like a bun so we could make like a real sandwich with all those things in there, it kind of worked out exactly how we wanted it, even though we wouldn't go and call this a traditional or authentic pretzel in any way. It
Right.
worked out to be what we wanted for lunch.
Well, initially we had this, we kept thinking we were gonna make bagels
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the lye. And then we sent a little message to Larry and said, hey, how much lye to water? What's our ratio here? And he was like, well, first of all, you're not making bagels. You're supposed to make pretzels. We were like, oh,
Oh,
oh. So anyway, the thing we ended up with was something between. What's a bagel and a pretzel together? Had a baby and it made this little
yeah.
like bun.
Yeah, pretzel
No,
buns.
pretzel bun. Oh, so good. So should we run through the recipe? It's super
Yeah.
simple.
Okay, so this recipe for the pretzels that we made started with 1.5 cups of lukewarm water, 2.25 teaspoons, or one of the little packages of active dry yeast. And so you whisk those two things together and then add in a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of brown sugar and a tablespoon of melted and cooled butter. So those are all your liquids going into this, and you just get that activated in the bowl of your stand mixer. And then you're going to add, I'm going to say 3 to 4 cups of flour. And
Hmm.
this is kind of a until it's the right texture explanation.
Yes. So as we've talked about in the past, and as you probably know if you're listening, depends on your flour, depends where you live. There are variables, right?
Too many
Humidity,
factors.
um, all kinds of things. So I think it's pretty safe, having made this recipe twice now in, where I live, but
Yeah,
I think you're safe to start with about 3 cups of flour
yeah.
and then let it go with the dough hook and see how it comes together. You don't want it to be dry, but you want it to pull away from the side of the bowl and form a ball.
Yeah, we kind of kept adding flour until the bottom bit of the dough that kind of sticks on the bottom of the mix. Once that released and started becoming incorporated with the whole dough, then you know you've kind of added enough flour.
Hmm.
And it's still a little bit tacky,
Yeah.
but it's soft and not hard.
It's not going to stick to your hands when you handle it to
Yeah.
make your pretzel. It's not like your hands are covered in sticky dough.
No.
It's quite, I mean, it's amazing to work with when you start rolling them out.
If you like just squishing dough, this dough is like dreamy to work with. I don't know.
So
I think
great.
we both have this like intense touch sensory
Mm.
dough love.
Well, there's nothing worse than trying to make something out of dough and it's just all stuck
Oh,
in your hands and you can't get it off. And then you try to rub it off and it kind of goes in that little
right.
crummy.
Or it's too hard and you feel like your elbows are going to break as you knead it. Yeah. So once you've got your dough to that pull away texture, you're going to let it knead in your stand mixer for 5 minutes,
Mhm.
which is, you could take it out onto your counter if kneading dough is your thing and you really love doing that. Go for it.
For 5 minutes.
Now you're going to cover your dough with a towel and get your water bath of your choice going. Pop your water into your pot, put it on the stove, add in your lye, mix it around, and then bring it to a boil.
I remember it's a stainless steel pot
Ooh,
if you're using lye.
correct. So your pot is coming to a boil, and you're going to start dividing your dough into 10 to 12 equal size pieces. I think we went for about 75 to 80 grams.
I think it was 78.
Oh, I think it was specifically 78. That's right.
Yep.
Weigh your dough,
Yeah.
divide by 12, and then you know how many grams to make it.
It really does help to weigh each little ball. It doesn't take that much effort to just
No.
plop it down on your kitchen scale and get a consistent weight because then they all bake at the same time and
Mm.
they're roughly the same size, which is really nice.
Yes, you've got these balls, you've rolled them out, you fold them into a pretzel, which took a few minutes for us to figure out.
I was like, how do we do this
How
again?
do we
You
do
can
again?
probably find a video, but basically you're rolling a long rope, you're kind of putting it up to a U shape and then
Yep.
twisting the top in, you just sort of fold it back down
Yeah.
and then it's, you know, when you've got a pretzel shape, or I mean, put them in whatever shape you like. Make a
Yeah.
twist, make a stick, make
Yeah.
a, I don't know, make it whatever you want it to be,
And because ours were short, like they were a pretty tight pretzel, but then it kind of turned into a bun. So, I
which
mean,
was pretty awesome actually.
I think like I'll be doing that for mine when I make them next,
I
for
think they'd
sure.
be really beautiful if you did a braid, like just make the rope kind of slice it like you would for a babka, and then kind of twist it together,
Oh
and then
my
you've got like a
goodness.
pretzel stick.
Yes.
I mean, you're not making a sandwich out of it now, but that'd be great for like carry it with you
Oh
or
my gosh. All the things. Yeah. I think you make it any shape you want, honestly.
hmm
If anyone's a pretzel purist, like tune
Yeah.
out right now because oh boy,
You won't like ours. Don't look at the photo.
do not. It took us about the time to roll and wrap these up. Your water is now boiling. Turn it off. You can place, we did it one at a time just so
Yeah.
that we didn't overbathe our pretzels.
Yeah, so because you put it in, you count to 10, you flip it, you count to 10, you take it out. If you've got
Yeah.
more than one in there, something's going to be in there for too long, I think.
Doing one at a time really is the way to go. So dip, flip, and put back onto parchment.
hmm
And then at this point, here's where you can kind of choose your own adventure. If you want them done right away, bake them. Pop them right into a preheated oven.
400-degree oven.
Bake them. They take about 12 to 15 minutes.
Go by color. If it looks brown, and you can, when a bun is done,
Yeah, it should
right?
sound hollow if you're tapping it, or it
Kind
should
of.
spring back if you press it.
hmm
Um,
They're pretty quick.
they're really fast to make. Or if you want that lye solution to sit on there longer and your dough to kind of ferment for a little bit and develop some more flavor, cover them and put them in your fridge for any time you
Yeah,
want.
you could put them overnight and bake them in the morning for brunch. We had a
Yeah,
discussion about how good that would be.
yeah. But we just popped them in the refrigerator. We took the dog for a walk. It was
Yeah, I
what,
think it was less than an hour,
30
probably.
minutes,
Yeah.
45 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we let ours sit for a little bit in the fridge, preheated that oven, baked them as we talked about, and then
And then that's it. Oh,
so easy to make. And
yeah,
really, all
really
the
easy.
steps line up so that while one thing's waiting, another thing's starting. And you can have these done, in a matter of time. And again, being able to just delay the bake if you want them fresh in the morning. Oh man,
Mm.
like you would have, our families have no idea how good they have it, is what the thing is.
Well, that's true.
Because
That's very
we
true.
do these things and they're like, oh wow, isn't this amazing? Yum, yum, yum. And you're like, do you understand how awesome we are?
Some people have never had a homemade soft pretzel.
That's right.
I risked my life and limb to make these with lye.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
you just gobbled it up in 10 seconds and went running off,
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say something else. Oh, we put 6 pretzels on each pan. We had 2 pans. We did 6 pretzels on each pan. They don't spread out a whole bunch, but you don't want it too crowded because they'll stick together.
Yeah.
It's the high heat with the lye bath that it gives it that brown caramelized exterior. And
Yeah.
the bottom of these buns was like you could like tap on it. It was like a crust on the bottom that was just like,
It was like a crispy
oh,
bite through. It was so pleasurable. I don't know if we should have taken a sound bite of that bite into it
oh
because it
my
just had the
God.
best munch to it.
Oh, we also put sea salt on
Mm,
top just before we put them in the oven.
correct. Your dough is sticky because of its bathing time.
I would say be generous, like make it a nice
Yeah.
coarse salt, and be generous with it because some of it, as it bakes and dries, some of it does sort of fall off. And when you
Good
handle it
point.
afterwards, when you pick it up, salt, salt kind of comes
Mm.
off, and you want that.
Then you
I think
lick your
you want it.
finger and pick up that salt anyway.
Yeah, but I think you want the salt on there, so
Yeah.
don't be afraid to be generous with a nice coarse salt. Oh,
Yeah. And go for like a kosher salt, not a table salt. You don't want
mhm.
the metallic taste of that iodide in there.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a simple recipe.
Yeah.
Even if you use baking soda instead, look on our website. We'll have both methods in the recipe for soft pretzels and enjoy. I would even double it because they got eaten up so quick. I would almost like double it. You could freeze them if you
Yeah.
want them for later. I think it's worth it. It's so good.
We originally went down this bagel avenue because we both agreed we really wanted to have some smoked salmon, cream cheese,
What do you
capers,
call it?
onion,
Isn't there a name for this whole?
bagels and lox,
Oh, maybe that's what
I
it's called.
think is what this was just.
Just whatever it's called. I'm eating it again for breakfast because I saved
Mhm.
a bun and I'm gonna eat that for breakfast today. Oh,
Yeah.
delicious. You can't go wrong, even if you put peanut butter on the thing when you're done.
Oh,
Or originally, when I made pretzels, I made a beer cheese dip
that's right.
that was like a more traditional, I think, German cheese dip that went with it. Oh, like
Yeah.
delicious. So if you want it to be more like pub food type thing, you can dip it in a nice
Hot
gooey
cheese
cheese
sauce.
sauce. Or a mustard, hot, spicy mustard on that pretzel.
Yeah. Like anything
Yes.
goes on this. It is just to die for.
Yes.
Changing lives one pretzel at a time. This is our last recipe of the season.
Oh, is it?
This is the end
Of season
of season 4.
4. I had to stop and think, is it season 4? Yeah,
You held
we're
up
gonna
four
be,
fingers in a very
I was
questioning
like,
face. Am I getting
4?
this right?
That's something. And
Yeah.
then we'll be cooking up who knows what in season 5. So
Yep.
send us your ideas. You can
Yeah.
DM us on Instagram. You can send us an email at threekitchenspodcast@gmail.com. You
Yeah.
can put a comment on one of our posts. We look at them all. If there's the odd comment, we will see it.
If you talk to us, we will talk back with you.
I promise. And we want to know what you want us to try to cook. We'll be your guinea pigs and we'll try it first.
Totally.
That's what we're here for, and that's what we
Yeah.
like to do. So
Next week, we're going to come back with a bit of a year in review to cap the highlights of the last season and give you a little preview to what's going to be going on next season because we're going to expand on our love of food just a little bit more and include some more voices and stories
that's a good little hint.
in our future season 5. Oh
I
my
can't believe
God.
season 5. That's insane.
5 and alive.
Yay. Okay, everybody go make pretzels right now. Right now.
I might be going and doing that right now.
And now for the fine print. Links to recipes and other things we talked about in this episode can be found on the show notes or our website, www.threekitchenspodcast.com. Come say hello on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok. We'd love to connect. And if you enjoy the show, pass it on. Word of mouth is the #1 way people learn about new podcasts. Thanks for listening. Oh, sorry, my cat. They did not give me enough smoked salmon. That's his complaint.
Yeah.
He really, really wanted that.